So, you want to be a voice actor.
Dance anime!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dance Anime, and today I'm not teaching you one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 tips on how to improve your voice acting. If you're new to the channel, my name's Kevin Sisenthone. I'm a professionally trained actor slash voice actor who just happens to be a nerd that loves anime and video games, because who doesn't? Before we jump into these tips, please consider subscribing to this channel. It would help a lot in the growth of it. I do a lot of anime stuff and video game stuff, so go check it out over. I'll link somewhere a video here. I'm not really sure how it works, but yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Number 1, voice acting is acting. You have to make sure that, first and foremost, acting is the most important thing about voice acting. It's what makes certain cartoons, anime, video games believable. Think about your favorite character and the emotions they've made you felt, almost to the point where you're enveloped in this character and you don't even realize there's a person behind the character voicing it. That's where you want to be, and the only way you achieve that is actually through actual acting. Making voices does not necessarily make you a voice actor, or at least good for voice acting. Acting is the backbone to voice acting, it's in the name. One of the base rules of when you get a character given to you, whether it be theater or whether it be voice acting, because all the rules kind of apply to the same thing, one of the kind of most important rules, that at least that has stuck with me, was that you do what the character does, you think what the character thinks, and you say what the character says. And what that necessarily means is that when there's a character that has all this depth to it and all the writing, and you'll work it out with your director too, when a character thinks a certain way, you have to get into that mindset. You have to think what the character thinks, and through that, your line delivery will be a little bit more truthful, a little bit more human, and that goes the same thing with saying what the character says. But you have to say it the way that the character would say it, if that makes sense. Which goes into thinking what they think and doing what they do. And the thing is, directors will know if you have or have not taken classes. They just will know. There is just an intuition that the directors will just know whether you are inexperienced or not. So my advice to you, if you are an inexperienced voice actor, or you're clicking on this video to try to get into voice acting, my best advice for you, and I know you guys don't want to hear it, but you kind of have to learn how the acting process goes. So take some classes, bring a friend, go to workshops, and do what you can to strengthen your acting ability, because it's going to help out immensely in the long run. And back when I was younger, I actually fell along that line. I fell along the thought process that, hey, I can make pretty decent voices. Maybe I could do this voice acting thing, where I quickly figured out, no, I can't. I have to back it up with the actual skill set that acting in general teaches you. So that's when I actually studied acting. I went into acting classes, did workshops, and just talked to various professionals within the industry to kind of study and hone my skills to become a voice actor. Now, initially, why I wanted to get into voice acting and voiceover was probably the majority of you. I wanted to get into anime. I wanted to get into video games, animation, Pixar, all that stuff, and pretty much I found out really quickly that no, I need to have the acting chops in order to get into these roles and audition for them. So that's when I took acting classes around high school time, eventually going to college, taking workshops, and studying, and eventually getting my degree in theater arts, all for the love of voice acting. Number 2, know your range. So everybody wants to be the medium-high voiced anime protagonist, and it's thanks to performances like, Bryce Papenbrook, Johnny Young Bosch, or even Justin Briner from My Hero Academia. And it's also thanks to the anime industry that kind of pushes towards more medium-high ranged voices that happen to be the leads of very popular anime. And I'm telling you right now, it's perfectly okay if you do not fit within that range. There are plenty of iconic roles that star voice actors with deeper voices, and we can look to performances like J. Michael Tatum, Christopher Sabat, or even Patrick Seitz. Now, consuming anime at a young age, growing up, hearing all these medium-high range voices that were the leading stars in anime, I've always wanted to categorize myself with that, and I'll never forget this. I forgot the guy's name, but I remember you, or I guess I don't. From high school. Pretty much in a nutshell, somebody in high school at the time compared my voice to Tyler, the Creator.
So that was a fucking lie.
And that broke my heart because I wanted to be this medium high range anime protagonist. And to be fair, at the time, I think I did sound like Tyler the Creator. I want to believe my voice is actually somewhere around that deep until I got some proper voice training. But pretty much I was just kind of talking within my throat. And the idea was that I was kind of it's almost hard for me to do it now because of all the training I've gone through. I was kind of talking through my voice, like it was just really grating. My voice was here, and now I talk more from my belly. So if you're watching this and your voice, is deeper or higher, and you want it to go higher or lower or whatever, it's very possible that you are just not properly speaking, at least in the performance sense. So pretty much voices could resonate within certain parts of the body. I want to say the most important part is that all the power of your voice, at least in theater, and I want to assume voice acting as well, comes right from the diaphragm. I don't know if you guys catch that on the camera, but right from your gut. That's where the most power is going to come from, to have this powerful, crisp voice. That's kind of what you want to go for. That being said, voices could resonate in various places. So again, if we go back to my story of me sounding like Tyler the Creator, if you have a more throatier voice, it's gonna sound a little bit deeper and a little bit right here, a little bit more grating. But when you go to a more headier voice, it's gonna be a little bit more higher, a little bit more peppier. And you can even try this right now at home. You could just even close your eyes, try to picture when you're talking that your voice is somewhere in your body. It's almost like a intangible energy ball, just kind of somewhere in your body, and you'll see that it'll start to change and manipulate based on where you kind of picture it in your body. And as you get a little bit more experience, you could kind of control where that voice is coming from, based on how you want to characterize your voices. Whether you have a higher voice or a deeper voice, I think it's very important to know your strengths. So what I'm pretty much saying is, in this cheesy anime fashion, don't be ashamed of your range. Just know it and get to appreciate it more. One analogy I always like to say is, think about voices as a tall, big person or a little, short person. You could, flip-flop them any way you want to represent higher or deeper voices, but the taller person is going to be able to reach higher shelves and possibly be able to dunk depending on their height, and just do various things at a higher elevation. Shorter people are going to be able to go underneath kind of shorter things and go into small gaps and crevices that taller, big people probably won't have. So whether you have a higher voice that's trying to get a deeper voice or a deeper voice trying to get a higher voice, I think it's important to say that your voice is beautiful. Just know your strengths and know that you could do things that the other opposite spectrum of the voices can't do. And that's a really beautiful thing. Number 3, don't make a voice, build a voice. What that means is that I think most people will tend to go towards certain voices and they'll just make it out of thin air. I think it's important to know the roots of how a voice is structured. We have to think about physicality, health, various circumstances that kind of make the voice its voice. So a lot of people will kind of think of an old man and they'll go, "Hey, Sonny," something along the lines. And it's like, you have to put into perspective, why are you doing that voice? If we look to actors say an actor like Chris Sabat, and think about his character in My Hero Academia, All Might. I know for a fact, if he was here in this room and I asked him, did you just go in there and make a voice? He would probably say no. Most likely, he probably went into a booth. Well, obviously, he listened to the Japanese version of All Might, and probably tried to match kind of closely to that, but I'm sure he put his own spin on it. And when you look at All Might, if you look at the character, he's big and boisterous, and he's always laughing, and he's got a big chest and big muscles, and he's always smiling, so I guarantee you in the booth, he's always, "Ha ha ha! Have no fear, for I am here." And he's very happy, I'm going to save the day and be justice itself. And that's kind of like, I'm sure, the voice work that Christopher Sabat actually goes through. Number 4, get physical. Acting is very physical naturally. The one thing that kind of sells a performance in acting is movement itself, and that's not just because of the visuals, especially if we're talking about voice acting. Movement will dictate emotion, and emotion will give truth to lines, and through truth, lines become more human. This is definitely something you could try out at home. Find a kind of one-liner thing and just say it over and over again, You know what? I'm gonna give you a line. Acting is very physical naturally. Just say that. Acting is very physical naturally, and say it over and over again. And after you've said it for a while, try marching and saying it again. You'll probably notice that the line becomes a little bit more aggressive. I don't want to use the word angrier, but it becomes more aggressive. because you're naturally doing aggressive movements, which then affects your voice. So that's something that would help your voice acting in general. So just get very physical behind the mic. I know technically people can't see you, but in order to sell the line, we have to work twice as hard. So don't be afraid to get physical in front of the mic. It'll help line delivery immensely. And if you haven't tried it before, you'll probably notice that, wow, my lines are sounding way better than they have ever before. Number 5, acting is a muscle. So pretty much if you want to succeed in voice acting, or if you want your voice acting to be at least good, you have to practice every single day. The more you don't act, the more it's going to slip away from you. If you have a mic, just go record and do stuff. And even if you don't have a mic, just pick your phone up and just try to read certain lines, pick up a play and read lines within the script. Or even get your favorite anime or video game lines and try to deliver them in a kind of unique way and try to put your own twist on it, because that's what directors want to see. If you don't have a mic, it's very easy to just get a USB mic, because it gets a little bit expensive once you get, professional mics and, mix amps and all that good stuff. So getting a USB mic is a really good choice if you are kind of a beginner at this, just to build your resume up. And honestly, I guarantee you, you could probably ask various professionals. They've probably auditioned with a USB mic, and I guarantee you directors have not even noticed. It really matters about the space around you. And even if you don't want to involve equipment, maybe when you're by yourself, just kind of say things aloud. I know when I'm in the car, I'm always saying random things. I'm always, doing lines of ha and ha, yeah, ha. I don't know what I don't know where those lines came from. I don't know why I just started doing Angry Link. And pretty much by the time you are messing around either on a mic or in your car, or in the shower, in your bedroom, by the time you audition, or even if you go to voice a role, you're going to be sharp. And here's the bonus: don't be a jerk to the professionals. There are so many times, more times than the fingers that I could count on my hand, that whether on the internet or in person, that someone kind of says that this person sucks or this person sucks. And what boggles my mind is all of a sudden,
yeah, I want to get into voice acting.
Now, I'm not saying to not critique, because I think that's a totally different story. Something constructive to give actors to better themselves as they go on to do these roles and other roles and other roles. If I'm doing a role and I get a comment saying that you suck, do better, what am I supposed to do with that? Oh, I don't suck anymore. And pretty much this goes for any type of profession, whether it's voice acting or say you want to go into, construction work. Don't hate on the people that are in the industry, because it's going to be really hard by the time you get your foot in the door. That, hey, they're going to be like, this guy's a dick, I'm not gonna hire him. Or, hey, I remember when this guy said this about this guy in a not so criticizing fashion. I personally think it's perfectly fine to critique. I do it all the time too. You could check our podcast out. Sometimes we critique voice acting, but I think there is a big difference between, oh, the line delivery on here was a little bit flat, maybe it could have needed this, versus you suck, don't ever voice act again. There's a complete difference. Hopefully you guys can see the difference. Please leave a thumbs up if this video helped you out, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure to watch all of our other stuff. We have a lot of anime, video game content over here on this channel. This is kind of first thing doing the voice acting thing, so just click over here somewhere on top of me, maybe on top of my face right now, I don't know. Just make sure you click on that and watch our other stuff, because it will help grow the channel out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.